draft physics video from a discouraged state of mind. The world is just impossible to navigate with just the faculty of reasoning alone. There's nobody can reason, nobody can communicate, nobody can with any kind of consistency, and I'm probably guilty of that in the sense that I won't convert into one of them, so to speak. I won't use nigga as slang. I won't call somebody a dude, because I know as soon as I do that I've just insulted them, unless they're really dumb. I just said, hey boy. You know. And yeah, and so yeah, can't change my style, and the style of everyone else is this unchangeable thing, and none of these styles mix in any kind of good way at all, and it just seems like it's getting worse and worse. Everybody's just looking like a troll or an idiot. It's like there's nothing. There's idiots that are trolls and idiots who aren't trolls. Something like that. So anyway, but yes, communicating, very difficult. Impossible, because everybody's just so obnoxious. They just keep playing these little idiotic word games to pretend they misunderstood you, and say, oh no, here's the Wikipedia page that uses that word in this way, and you know, that kind of, you know, the stupid little games. Well, I'll get to the comments, I'll get to some of that. I mean, it's just a waste of time. It has nothing to do with the point being made. It's just distractions. In defense of what? Alright, so Ken Wheeler, we'll do a little bit of this, and then I'll do comments. Hopefully I won't get caught up in this too long. But he, you know, makes these videos, and he's so obnoxiously arrogant. I have done it. I have described magnetism. I have explained it. I discovered it. And he provides nothing. I mean, no explanation at all. Just bullshit rhetoric. It's the counter space, the acceleration of the magnitude through the counter space. Isn't that obvious? No, it's not obvious at all. That makes things move into each other. And he says things like, well, gravity's just magnetism. Well, then where's the repulsive gravity? I mean, magnetism creates the strongest, very strong repulsion. A repulsion that's as strong, the acceleration away, as any repulsion created as attraction. It's an equally strong force. Where's gravity's counter repulsive force? Oh, that's right, it doesn't exist. So your explanations are vacuous and empty, and he gets rewarded for this shit. You know, only 10 dislikes, 114 likes, for absolute rubbish. I declare I have discovered it, and I'm the only one, and I did it, and he didn't do anything except contrive some really silly experiments. And I've pointed out how some of his experiments belong at a carnival. They're so bad. You know, what have you explained? What have you done? Except declare yourself the victor in a million debates that no one's ever seen, and that you won't allow anybody to challenge you to. I mean, this is a preposterous character, and he just gets away with it. And people just gloat on him. Oh, I love you, but I can't look. The photography videos are fine, but I anxiously wait for those on magnetism. Thank you. Doesn't say anything. Nothing. There's nothing here except his declaration that I've done it. There's no it.
How magnetism works, what it ultimately is, and none of them. I am the first person to have done that. If you think that's being boastful, guess what? I don't care.
It doesn't even have anything to do with me thinking it's boastful. It is in fact, but regardless, it's insanely boastful. If you had actually done this, then I'd go ahead, boast your heart out. But you haven't done anything. If you can't convince other human beings, and I would say, human beings actually went to at least high school physics. I mean, obviously these commenters, obviously photographers must be a dim class, because, I mean, they place no scrutiny on any of this mush he talks. But I mean, yeah, this whole anti-thing, it's so vogue. Oh yes, Einstein was an asshole, Tesla was Einstein. Tesla was the real Einstein. Sitting on a park bench feeding fucking pigeons and thinking about making his death ray. He was the real Einstein. Pissed away millions of dollars not doing what he was paid for to do.
I could care less what you think about that. I still did it. I spent countless thousands of hours.
You still did what? Combined a bunch of incomprehensible rubbish words into one sentence? A hyperboloid magnituding through counter space with its lack of inertia. Whatever the fuck that is.
Was working on it, and you didn't.
Well, I actually did. That's the funny part. And, so, on you.
Is that boastful? I don't give a damn what you think about that.
Again, it's not being boastful. It's being boastful when you have nothing in the bag. That's not boastful. Boastful is like exaggerating. You're not exaggerating. You're turning nothing into something. Your contribution to the scientific understanding of magnetism is nothing. It's the opposite of counter space. It doesn't have any magnitude.
What is beautiful, and wisdom is its own reward.
Cliche much, but yes, whatever, fine. Bullshit. Yeah.
You see, other people that try to get acclaims for things that they've done, when it comes to wisdom, it's its own reward.
Then yes, we all should be just delusional and think we did something, and therefore we will be rewarded for not accomplishing. Yeah, great. That doesn't make any sense, realistically. I mean, there's no reward in having, like, if you had a reward, like, if you had the wisdom to know how to feed 10 million starving people, and yet you couldn't convince them that you had the cure, you had the thing that'll fix it, that wouldn't be much of a reward. You wouldn't be sitting there saying, oh, I feel such a rewarding, wonderful feeling. I know, and I can't make it happen. That wouldn't be rewarding.
The reciprocating processional hyperbola.
The reciprocating processional hyperboloid. Yes. How does that explain why two physical objects move towards each other or repel or move away from each other? How does that mumbo-jumbo mush explain magnetism?
Actually defines magnetism.
It defines nothing. It doesn't. Even if there, it can't define anything because the words themselves don't mean anything, and they certainly couldn't cause anything because none of the words have any association with causing. Donut does not mean it flies to France. There's nothing about a donut that says it flies to France. You have to explain why the donut flies to France. A donut doesn't explain, hey look, it's a donut magnetism with an hourglass in it. How does that explain attraction and repulsion? The event. How does it explain the fucking event? And it rags on mathematics, and as much as I hate math, math is good at formulas, at creating predictions of behavior, of isolating some variables in the circumstance and recognizing that changing those variables will cause a change in the outcome. And math does that very well. But math isn't explaining. Math isn't saying, I will tell you the physical mechanism that's causing it to happen. That's not what it's doing. It doesn't tell you why something has velocity. It recognizes that it has velocity. Those are different things. Those are different objectives, asshole. And I know there's a lot of people who think math actually does explain why something moves, but it really doesn't.
Incommensurability of field.
Yeah, incommensurability of field. But I mean, right there, why are you using a word like incommensurability? Why can't you just use some other word like, the resistance to perturbation, resistance to motion, or something like that.
Coherency? Like, what the hell does that mean? Like,
exactly. So people say, you even are sitting there saying, well, what the hell does that mean? You're even acknowledging that people's reaction is going to be, what the fuck is that drivel? And yet you still won't answer the question. You'll just pretend it's not a legitimate question. No, it's a legitimate question. What the fuck does that mean? What does it have to do with two magnets moving towards each other or two magnets moving apart from each other? What the fuck does that crap? How does that explain the physical process? How does the physical bits of the matter, how are you explaining how the bits move through space? The bits are counter space. See, this is the jargon he has. Counter space is the matter, and space is the nothing. Counter space is the ether, and somehow the ether moves through the nothing. Oh, that would be too much like a particle. No, the ether exists and little blobs of nothing get in it, like bubbles in soda. I don't know. See, he says it so horribly, even after hundreds of videos, I still can't figure out what the fuck he's saying.
You don't have to understand what incommensurable... If
you don't have to. You don't have to understand, yet how am I supposed to understand your theory when it's based on your jargon, and not a single bit of your jargon is ever explained except to say, well, I don't care if you call it loss of inertia or counter space, it's ether. So every now and then you define a word, but very rarely.
Take someone that is a total oddball like me, well-learned and not...
yeah, well, again, your ancient Greek bullshit. Yeah, okay, yes, you're an expert in dead languages. Bravo. I would argue that's sort of an indication that you have too much time to waste, but okay, whatever.
Not only metaphysics, but translates ancient Greek and Pali and Prakrit, and has had a lifelong interest in field theory, and you combine those things...
Right, a lifelong interest in field theory, where he says he owns every book on a field, and his expectation is that these field theories, which are mostly mathematical, would somehow define the actual field. Not define its function, but define what it's made of. And that's not the objective of mathematics. But I'll tell you what it's made out of. Bits.
What happens, and you
See, this is why we should have a debate. Is see, we both say conventional physics has got it wrong, because dualism is retarded. It either is a wavy ether, mushy world universe, or it's a hard, mechanical, bit universe, particle universe, so to speak. I mean, obviously, by particle could just mean whatever you want to convert these little things that actually move at the speed of light, photons. You can make them anything theoretically. They can be a glow of neon. I don't. They can be a little green thing. They can be anything. But the point is, they have a limited function. They have a mass and they move at a speed at a consistent direction, unless they interact with something.
Throw away like countless, tens of thousands of hours of your time that other people take for granted, like doing other things, like trying to get rich or laid.
Blah, blah, blah,
and
blah, blah, blah.
dedicated towards comprehending something as fundamental as cosmic mechanics and how divinely simple it is.
So divinely simple, and yet he uses words like hyperboloid and counter space and all this other bullshit. Divinely simple, he says.
But not simplex. Very simple, but not simplex.
Right. That doesn't mean anything. And no more jargon, more mush. I just don't know how you get away with shit like that. It's not simple, it's simplex. But simplex doesn't mean simple. Wait, whatever.
Acceleration. I mean, what actually defines a magnet? We think, well, a magnet is a repulsive and it's also attractive. No, it's not. All acceleration is not magnetic. It's not.
All acceleration is not magnetic. So again, nobody's arguing that. Point is you were supposed to explain why magnetism initiates acceleration. Why the process happens.
Electric acceleration. Well, we got magnets that attract, and if you stick them on light polarity, they repel, and this is all BS.
Right, so repulsion and attraction, I would argue, are a misunderstanding in the sense that because it is a field pressure, the field of quanta, all right, pushes things. So they're not getting attracted, they're getting pushed into each other. It's not the same as a repulsion, obviously, but they're getting pushed into each other. And when they fly apart, it's because there's pressure and they get pushed apart. It's always a push, no pulls involved.
You know, we could observe things. See, what stupid human beings don't get is that observation and reproducible experiments have no connection to...
These are things that are just so wrong to say. They have, you know, experiments are really a good thing. Understanding them sometimes isn't done. You know, scrutinizing them sufficiently isn't done. But the idea of experiments being a way of gaining knowledge is really something stupid to ridicule.
The damn explanation, like the idiot Einstein. Yeah, I said Einstein is an idiot. Also Nikola Tesla. Many times said that Einstein was an idiot.
Yes, and that's bad on Tesla. You know, it seems Tesla had an inferiority complex, and you know, Einstein was rather gracious in when Tesla died in not saying good riddance to the little potty mouth. Because yeah, Tesla was a potty mouth, nothing more.
Einstein was the Nobel Peace Prize for the photoelectric effect. Now, that experiment is not only highly reproducible, and Einstein wrote out his assumed explanation for how it worked, but his explanation has no connection to reproducing the experiments.
And his explanation wasn't complete either. I mean, Einstein died saying, "Look, I've been studying photons for 50 years. I haven't embiggened my knowledge of them in those 50 years. I'm still confused." Straw man. That's what that is. That's a straw man argument. Einstein didn't say he understood photons. He just said that, hey, you know, it's kind of obvious that this is a corpuscle of energy in the end because of the byproduct. You can't create this with strictly wave mechanics.
It's not valid. The ancient Egyptians were able to reproduce some of the most amazing physics phenomena that even today we don't understand.
Yeah, it says you. So I don't know. I don't even know what to say to that. They hadn't even perfected, you know, running water, for fuck's sake.
You know, but they had crazy explanations like so and so God was behind it. You know, if I discover something new and I say, well, tiny leprechauns are coming in here and they're coming out there, it's like, well, he discovered the phenomena, therefore...
Yeah, and what do you do that's any different than that? What is different between hyperborealoid talk and leprechaun talk? It sounds like the same thing, except at least leprechauns have arms and legs, and you can imagine they could walk with their shillelagh to their pot of gold. At least there's some kind of coherency here. There's nothing coherent. There's nothing to imagine or to construct or to model in your vacuous hyperborealoid did it. It's a ghost.
His explanation must be correct. You know, he discovered something. There's no connection there. Discovery and reproducing something has no connection to what someone does or does not do when it comes to explaining it.
Right, and your explanation again is there's nothing. There is no explanation. There's just jargon.
Specifically about magnetism. All the acceleration that we think is magnetic attraction is not magnetic attraction. I've said this before endlessly. It's dielectric acceleration.
Right, it's dielectric acceleration, which again doesn't say anything, doesn't explain how the matter is accelerated, how it is in one position and it's provoked to take a new position. What does that?
The only thing that defines it is the ability of that neodymium iron boron or samarium cobalt or ferrite magnet is to undergo field coherency.
Right, so the field gets coherent, and I would argue if they said something like, well, it's filtering a energy source. If you explain some energy dynamic, then you might get somewhere, but you have to explain the energy. And at least in their mathematics that you ridicule, they come up with concepts like a virtual carrier. So they define the field as being full of the virtual carrier. That's what Maxwell's equations do. There's a virtual ton that's essentially the definition of the field. Now, if they were clever people, they might say, well, if it's virtual and it works, then maybe we ought to figure out a theory that makes the virtual thing a real thing. And then they might figure out, you know, we have all that virtual bent space. Why don't we turn that virtual bent space into some sort of real thing, and then we can make that get filtered by the magnets. Yeah, that'll work. But no. I had to come along and do it first, I guess.
This is why stars go dead and also collapse when they produce enough iron. Then they undergo field coherency. Then all activity in the stars die, or if they're large enough, they collapse.
Right. All activity die. No, none of that stuff happens. They don't. The gravity doesn't go away. The mass doesn't go away. They said this is all just rubbish. Anyway, no point. He's just gonna. He'll just redo the same video now, another time. He'll just say the same stuff all over again. Well, I could prove it by playing it, but there's no point. He'll just talk about, I'm not being boastful. I did it. He'll just do all that shit. So anyway, I just, it's not worth spending too much time on. But anyway, he made another video on field theory, just doing exactly the same thing, saying he understands fields, nobody else understands fields, and he provides nothing. He hasn't got one piece of paper, one drawing, one picture, one mechanical idea of it. Nothing. Just nothing. Alright, so anyway, comments. So these are just recent ones. Yeah, I'm not, some stuff I'm just not going to deal with anymore, but it's just a waste of time. You know, so I will be illustrating that. I guess I just need to read them. I'll cite the name and do the appropriate, fuck you. So some asshole, X-Nightmare Beta. Ganymede is a satellite of Jupiter and the largest satellite in the solar system. It is larger than Mercury and Pluto. Look, I was talking about the moon as an object relative to the Earth, and the fact that as moons go, it's really big. And I meant by big, massive. So sorry you misunderstood. You can walk on the moon, gravity, all that kind of stuff. So the moon actually is twice as heavy. Mercury is twice as heavy as Ganymede. So size is, I wasn't talking about how volume, or I was talking more about density. But anyway, regardless. So a communication problem, obviously. And I think that was clear from the context of the conversation, is that I was saying the moon is a significant object orbiting the Earth, relatively speaking. It wasn't a conversation about, well, Saturn has a moon that might be 1/10,000th of its size. No, that wasn't the subject. Anyway, 3/4 the size of Mars. It has a diameter of 5,268 kilometers. And right, and it has a density that's half that of the moon. So from Google search, biggest moon in our solar system. So you should have done a Google search, most massive moon, or biggest relative to the planet it orbits, or something relevant to my point, that the moon is, as moons go, it's really big, quote unquote, in terms of its gravitational significance for a moon. It's probably the highest ratio moon-planet relationship in terms of mass and distance. But whatever, fuck you. So, but this is all just, this is the useless tripe. There was nothing in my point. I wasn't giving the moon the Nobel Prize. I wasn't saying the moon is the heaviest moon in the universe, or the moon is the biggest moon in the universe. No, I wasn't doing any of that. So all this bullshit is totally unnecessary. So, delete. Fuck you. Alright, most children, this is from Benaberry, stupid. Most children are born to imbeciles, and, question mark. Are you saying an imbecile cannot change the world? Well, he can by being a terrorist or something. Or come up with an original idea. Well, by very definition of imbecile is, yes, the original idea isn't going to be necessarily original. Because, see, originality has to do with certain levels of creativity and building on knowledge, more complex knowledge. So if you don't have complex starting points, then you're probably going to already do A, B, C. It's like a password or something. The really simple passwords get used by the imbeciles over and over and over again. Like password for their password. So yes, that's what I'm saying. Imbeciles have little hope of doing anything useful. You think Peterson is an idiot. each to their own opinions. That's not a counter argument. It's not meaningful. It doesn't say anything. Frankly, I just don't. I don't see the point in it. Each to their own opinions. Do you mean people can have any kind of opinion? Like, I can molest children, or I can rape women, or... No, fuck that. Asshole should be called asshole. That's my opinion. Alright, I am awesome. I bet you're not. I bet if your parents weren't retarded, they would be aware and say, geez, what a piece of shit we set loose in the world. Yeah, your mother probably should be shot, and your father should be raped. It's probably my actual... Yeah, I would vote for that. No stealing shit. Your past is here on YouTube. Oh. And how have I done anything to distort that or pretend otherwise? I've mentioned on the DraftScience channel that I have originally was the Amendum channel, and this was only for the purpose of the fact that a lot of people don't like talking science. This guy has an epic past. DraftScience, quote unquote. Ha ha ha. So, same asshole. Yeah, you're an idiot. What was I supposed to do with drivel like that? So, the Wilhelm Gelfeld, who has absolutely nothing to say that means anything, he doesn't understand any of these concepts, and all he does is insult and insult and insult and insult. Alright, I actually have an alternative theory for electromagnetism. Oh, I'm sure it's idiotic, right? I dub it Tehran theory. Oh, that's funny. You see, electrons, protons, and particles are actually Tehrans and only travel in one direction until they come into contact with something that bounces perpendicular. So, the fact that this actually physically happens, okay, that the force is emitted perpendicularly, it almost sounds like Wilhelm, if anybody came up with the actual explanation of the physical process, it's going to involve a rule that's likely going to explain that. And he would ridicule it because, well, where'd that rule come from? Well, the rule came from the physical structure. Whether it's the shape of the things, you know, like two arrows could be going into each other, and if they hit a little bit off the very point, you could sort of understand that they would turn perpendicularly. So there could be this simple mechanism that just creates a perpendicular rule, and he would ridicule it. Why? Well, because it matches the truth. It matches the results, and it doesn't contain bent space. See, if it doesn't have bent space in it, or Heisenberg in it, or magic in it, he doesn't want to hear it. So, yeah, fuck you. Your sarcasm is so fucking useless. So anyways, it's kind of like Gary's Excerpt, except it makes a much better movie, in my humble opinion. Well, fuck your opinion sucks. Your rhetoric sucks. Your brain obviously sucks. You're a piece of suck. Who dresses up as John Wayne anyway? It's 2017, newsflash. Yeah. John Wayne played characters who lived in 1765, you retard. Let's make one thing perfectly clear. This is him still. Sparklingly clear. Well, usually things that are clear don't sparkle, but whatever. The explanation Gary gives that the tons, sparkles are reflections, obviously. It's not an indication of clarity. Gary gives that tons are ticking, tapping, tipping, ticking, tipping, bouncing, and let's see, tatting. Oh, so it's more poetry fun with Wilhelm, John Wayne's butt blister, and dancing. I'm not even going to bother. Look, if you can't make a relevant argument, just fuck off. I'll just block you. I'm not going to, I have no interest in your joke poetry, you small-dicked wonder. Oh, God. You just puke! 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 You just make me want to puke that you're a fucking human. You're disgusting. Shit, can't you make a fucking argument? God. Shoot the hecklers. Alright, use your microwave oven. I wonder if the energy consumption is the same when the oven is empty. Well, this really isn't about microwaves. You know, that was a segment of the thing, but you know, to do experiments with microwaves, you obviously don't want to be doing stuff inside a microwave oven, I don't think. Anyway. Whoops, I must have sent that unfinished. Say a pint of water. Also wonder if energy could be flowing to Earth via the ground lead. I will try some simple tests. It's not the energy. Okay, if you put a conductor in the way of any quantized force, I think just about any of them will, a metallic conductor will interfere with them, and that's why photons will create electricity in metals. Is for that reason. Is because of the fact that that atomic structure will pick up almost any. Anyway, stop. So this is the white wolf. So I don't even. You know, these are incomprehensible, mushy comments. Stop role playing, laughing my ass off. I'm don't even know what that means. Fuck off, please. So Dragon Skin Studio, another brilliant name. Are you going to run some test on these theories? I've already stated that. And then the Wilhelm just laughs. Ha 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 bra ha 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 ha. Oh yeah, right. I thought that might cheer you up. LOL. Okay, well, I'll just delete all that mush. But yeah, I mean, useless rubbish. I've already done some experiments, and I've pointed out the certain little limitations I have. Okay, so I was using carbon on a microscopic slide, and you get really poor resolution, in my opinion. I mean, I want something clearer in terms of a medium to work with that creates a really clear pattern, so then I can change the thickness of the medium, do different things to see how the pattern changes. So first you have to create your control sample, so to speak, before you can start messing with it. You need a consistent control kind of idea. But anyway, there's lots of experiments to do, and the lasers aren't as, you know, there's bugs in them as far as I'm concerned in terms of the, you know, I think the frequency is a range, not a frequency. But anyway, I'm working on it. Interesting. I see you talking. So this is Mindless Marbles. So he edited this comment because he started off with more, oh yeah, I'm going to make some more snarky bullshit remarks. Alright, so yeah, so there's something I'll get to with him, because he did make this whole argument that I thought was, you know, anyway, pitiful as an effort. But the more I thought about it, the more I said, you're just so full of shit because you haven't even thought about what you're saying. So he argued about doing the two-slit experiment, and let's just say changing it in this subtle way. So you have your two slits and your target. And so his experiment was to place a barrier in between, blocking one of the slits at a distance. So this would be 3 centimeters. And he would block the wave somehow, and this would break the entire pattern, supposedly. Now the theory is that in water waves, obviously that won't break the pattern, because the pattern is the two waves interfering with each other, and they do it from the point of origin. So the interference is created as soon as they get to a distance. These lines will show up fairly early, and they will go theoretically infinitely in those directions. So the on-off would be in these. The pattern would go from the point where the two waves intersect all the way forever, so supposedly, theoretically. So wherever you put the barrier, so if you put a barrier in here, all you're really saying is I shined it on a surface that was in two places. So if you said this was your screen that you were playing your movie on, you would expect the movie to show up here just smaller, and it would show up here bigger. And the same expectation, I think, is true for the double slit experiment. All you're doing is changing the point where the photon has to terminate. But it's not going to change where it was heading because of, theoretically, where it has been told the head. Okay, so there's no rule that you can explain why if I create two screens and I put one at 3 centimeters and I put one at 3 meters, why the pattern should break. Especially with photons, because their wavelength is so small that this interference would start happening at a millimeter from the slits. You would already have these lines established at 1 millimeter. So why would this change anything? How do you theoretically explain how the pattern created here dissolves merely because this screen is further away? No, there won't be any. It won't explain that. His experiment doesn't. So he says what happens is there's no pattern when he put his barrier in here, and that's evidence of something. And what I'm saying is it's evidence of a badly done experiment, because frankly, you have no explanation for why there would be any change. The pattern should be there, it should just be incredibly small, and it's going to be more visible here. I mean, obviously it's going to, the pattern be a foot long here, and the pattern here at 3 centimeters is only going to be a millimeter long. I mean, all you're changing is the size of the image. Shit. Anyway. So, another one of his bogus arguments as far as I'm concerned. More energy wasted on this nonsense. Interesting, I see you're still talking shit about Huygens principle on your Joe Rogan video. Yes, understand it's Huygens principle because they can't really make it a law because they can't apply it consistently. And Huygens himself had to keep manipulating the math for different circumstances because it didn't work. But anyway, let's just forget about that part. The Joe Rogan video on your Menem channel. You seriously don't see how fucking embarrassing this is? Yeah, I seriously don't. I think the idea of you people believing in Huygens should indicate to you some embarrassment. The very idea that you have an infinite number of something in a confined space in a physics conversation should be embarrassing to you. To be dependent on the creation of infinities in confined spaces, you should find that troubling. Time and time again, sorry, that never happened, I've been saying that Huygens is not something people make up. No, Huygens made it up. Huygens is a principle because, well, he says, it's a mathematical consequence, like mathematical means something. A mathematical consequence of what? Of presumptions, of assumptions. Nothing else. There's no mathematical consequence. Nobody said, hey, Huygens, way to go discovering that mathematical conclusion. Newton would have accepted Huygens if Huygens was a mathematical consequence. If Huygens could have demonstrated to Newton, hey, look, it's a mathematical consequence. See, 2 plus 2 equals infinity. See, if he could have done that, then Newton would have said, oh, shit, yeah, that's the answer. But Newton didn't do that. All of this indicates that you still haven't learned jack shit. What it indicates is that you are a devotee of some sort of religious theory, and you'll just keep insisting that it's not a religious theory, that it's not dogma. You still insist that the laser scenario makes light go faster. No, what I insist on is you making a rational explanation. You say that the photons, according to Einstein, have mass because they get bent, and then you say they do exactly what the wrench does, a massive object. We know what the wrench does. We know that if two spacemen are moving in space and they throw a wrench across, we know the wrench is moving forward and back and forth. So the astronauts only see the back and forth, but we know the wrench has actually got that extra velocity. and that it's actually moving faster than the distance it's going back and forth. A lot faster, depending on how fast the astronauts are moving. We know that. And what you haven't explained is just like the wrench, if the astronaut misses it, it goes into space faster. Now why doesn't your fucking photon do that? And you have no explanation. Douche. Jack shitter. You're the one jack shitting. Go faster than light, or that reference frames are boxes. And again, or who the fuck knows what. No, I said it quite overtly. You're the one. I don't think there are reference frames, retard. You're the assholes who think you can make your stupid frames and then break the law of physics by saying there's no consequence. You're the one saying that your photon, when it leaves your reference frame, converts back to going regular speed. Yeah. Because the only way it got to the guy's hand is it had to go faster. It had to. It couldn't get there otherwise. Asshole. Let's see. Frames are boxes because that's what makes you comfortable. No. What makes rational sense. Again, you're the one saying that in every way, the light photon behaves like a wrench. It carries more than one momentum, and it converts it into a velocity and a vector in a direction. So when the one astronaut throws the wrench, it's going, this way. When the other one throws it, it goes this way at these diagonal angles, and that's what it travels. That's the actual path it travels. And it's doing it at a speed that is faster than any one of the individual speeds. Fact. Now you tell me why the photon isn't doing that. And you don't have any explanation. And time dilation doesn't let you off the hook in this case. Why does the wrench behave differently than the photon if you say they're mechanically the same? Alright, Dr. Samuel Huygens was right, says you. He will simply continue to gloss over the points you make. I don't know what this is. Dr. Samuel Hayden, okay, was right. So he's quoting that other asshole. He will simply continue to gloss over the points you make, misrepresent them, and reject anything that doesn't match his bullshit. So if I don't accept his theories, I would say the same penalty is implied. You have to accept what he says. He says it's a mathematical conclusion, mathematical consequence, that there's some true method like the R-squared rule or gravity or something real forces Huygens to be true. And no such thing exists. No such relationship exists. Huygens is a contrived explanation. It's an engineered explanation. It isn't necessitated by anything but the fact that they needed a mechanism to justify the conclusion. He will never, and I mean never, concede anything here. That's not true. Again, you're saying you've provided sufficient evidence to persuade somebody that this stuff is unchallengeable, that no other theory could possibly be correct. You've proven bent space, you've proven that light gets bent by gravity, you've proven that when you move a spaceship the speed of light, that light can get to the other side of the ship instantaneously. Bullshit. He has to think he's special. Well, that's just nonsense. He has to think he has a secret of the universe. That's just nonsense also. I went out and looked for it and I found it, and you don't want to consider that as a possibility, and that's your prerogative. And all I can say is that somebody's guts should be greasy stains on the battlefield of ideas in some sort of overt way, because you're making declarative statements that are incredibly offensive and decisive and complete in a sense, and you're backing them up with shit. And so in hindsight, what exactly is the penalty I should be allowed to impose on you? I mean, shouldn't you be literally dragged into some public stockade to be, have cabbages thrown at your ugly face, you scumbag? I mean, I'm willing, because I'm quite confident I'm correct, because it unifies physics and it does it in a rational way without a bunch of ghostly, fake, bent things. Anyway, and anything that doesn't gel with that will be dismissed. Well, again, some of these issues have nothing to do with my theory and gelling with my theory. They're just arguments demonstrating that your physics has a bunch of proclamations and statements about reality that aren't been proven, that haven't met the burden of proof, and yet they're established as now fact. These are facts of physics. They aren't theories anymore. They're stated as facts. And I'm using that to demonstrate how weak the conclusions have been, and how poor the scrutiny has been. And I've demonstrated over and over again that there's lots of people saying things about experiments, and the actual experimental evidence doesn't defend what they're saying. So fuck you. Alright, so he quotes asshole, and now he's going to say his asshole bit. But I'll add something more to this commentary. You don't think you have to have the secrets of the universe. You don't think you have to have the secrets of the universe. I don't know. No, you think that by telling everyone there is no secret to the universe, I don't even know what that means. I'm saying there is a secret to it, but it's a simple answer, not a complex answer. You get to be special. Again, this isn't about me being special. It's about me having a real problem with this whole idiotic culture that lives on bullshit. And it just seems to me that, yes, God is obviously a bullshit notion. I've protested that my whole life. And the more I heard about what physicists are saying, I said the more that sounds like another bullshit religion. It doesn't sound like physics. You really do want your circumference of ignorance to be as tiny as possible. I don't even know why would I use a word like circumference of ignorance? But yes, I would prefer not to be an imbecile, yeah. And as a result, you're getting what you deserve. So you really do want your circumference of ignorance to be as tiny as possible. And as a result, you're getting what you deserve. I don't even know what that means, but fuck it. Great, thanks for adding on. Brilliant. Which quadratic integer rings? Which? That don't satisfy Einstein's domain properties have unique prime, whatever that is, factorization. Do you know that? No, I don't. How about lattice optimization problems? No, I don't. I already said I don't do. I don't do calculus, let alone the other bullshit math. What I understand though is relationships. So if somebody says inverse square law, I understand why that's there. Or if somebody even squares, the sides, the algebra kind of stuff. I get that. I get a lot of this stuff. And I was smart enough to know what was in the math. I was the one who pointed it out that the math isn't done with the size of the slits in it. So I guess I was smart enough to analyze the math to be able to say that, wasn't I, douchebag? And then I was smart enough to analyze the math and say the math isn't dealing with the two patterns in the double slit experiment. Not the math at MIT, not the math at Yale, not the math on Khan Academy, not the math in any public video. So I guess I knew enough about the math to be able to analyze what it doesn't have in it. Wasn't I, asshole? Yeah, I was. And I'm smart enough to know what's in Einstein's math in the sense that all Einstein's creating, there's no bent space factor. There's just an acknowledgement that the center of gravity of the sun changes, and that's causing the change in Mercury's orbit. The sun is processing. That's why Mercury processes. Not magic. Anyway, you watched that stupid QM cartoon and now you think you know a thing or two. No, I watched the cartoon and wanted to throw up because it's absolute nonsense. And physicists are allowing this nonsense, and they are supporting the nonsense and creating this nonsensical notion. And I showed them over and over and over again lying about the physical circumstance of the double slit experiment and how it isn't a meaningful experiment when one views the single slit, because the single slit is the one that's a lot harder to explain. Creating two photons because you have two slits, okay, you can see how people get away with that crap. But creating two photons when you have one slit, yeah, that gets a little more dicey. And you goddamn know it. And so to pretend that I did anything other than say, why is physics basically built on their nail in the coffin experiment, is being lied about. And you still won't account for that being a fact. You won't account for how, yes, it does hurt credibility of physics. You won't say any of that. You're so fucking dishonest. So yeah, I watched the cartoon. I found it repulsive because it's so fucking dishonest. Alright, and by the way, you misrepresented the Yale guy. Yeah, it's a little subtle, but, oh Jesus. When he was saying the slit equation has no slit width, he was implicitly referring to the 1 point approximation. Well, again, what is the difference? The point is he was converting something a minute ago when he was talking about a single slit, the same damn slit. It's not a different slit. So 1 minute it's creating an infinite number of point sources, the next minute it's one single point source. 1 minute, the infinite number of point sources turn into two force vectors, and the next minute it converts into one, the same exact slit. And so all these rationalizations and excuses are just that. This is not consistent. It's inconsistent physics between single slit explanations and double slit explanations. And it goes back to this stupid word diffraction, and it goes back to Professor Lewin pointing out that no, there's nothing mechanically different between these two functions. These patterns are not created by different mechanisms, and that's fucking obvious. So go ahead and lie, okay? Make up crap that this somehow makes sense, that when the force goes through the single slit, it creates two photons, and when it goes through the single slit that's next to another single slit, oh, it just creates one. And that there's some rational explanation for that deception. That's a deception, fucker. I mean, and your fucking excuses for it are empty. Okay, I found a quote where he said, "We take the slits to be vanishingly small." I quoted him saying that, and I said how ridiculous it is. It's ridiculous. The slits aren't anywhere close to being vanishingly small. The slits are fucking big. You don't have a pattern unless they're big. You don't have enough light unless they're big. Asshole. They're not vanishingly small. They're not insignificantly small. They're the same fucking size as they are in the single slit experiment. You fucking liar for the popes. Okay, anyway. This entire career of yours doesn't just hinge on bad physics. We haven't demonstrated any bad physics, liar, or empty mathematics. Well, again, I stated that most of the mathematics is correct because the mathematics is just describing outcome. It's not describing the function. It's not describing what actually is happening, retard. That's what I'm doing. That's what a theoretical physics is supposed to be about. Is actually coming up with the explanation, jerk. Oh, God, it hinges on bad philosophy. And it's bad philosophy because it doesn't have your gods in it, right? It doesn't have your magic in it. It's not wishy-washy, mishy-mushy physics. It's actually about physical things, not fake, bent field forces. Oh, the magic emptiness tells the matter where to go. Fucking idiot. You can't accept that determinism maybe, just maybe, might be threatened. See, he really is. He's a free fucking willer. That's what all this desperation is. He's trying to make the world into some magical place where he's in some fucking programmed robot. You idiot. Yeah, no, you are. You're a programmed, incessant asshole. You've been programmed with the asshole program. So as a result, you instinctively make your ignorance and use that as affirmative proof of something. I don't even know what that even says. You instinctively take your ignorance and use it as affirmative proof of something. Yeah, I have proposed a theory that explains how if you make gravity a real force, then you can make it explain the nuclear force and magnetism. And it works with a physical particle. That no magic, no Heisenberg, no unknown locations, no magical functions at all. Just real interactions between real things that have very limited function. That means they move in straight lines. As Feynman would say, a photon goes from point A to point B in a straight line, unless it hits an electron. You'll never see or understand the evidence for superposition. Well, the way you use the word superposition, certainly not. But yeah, you're not going to be in two places at once, idiot. So you use that as proof that it's made up. Great. Now I use a lot of evidence as proof. I've compiled the evidence. Why does physics misrepresent the truth on its nail-in-the-coffin experiment? Why does it do that? Because the evidence is really good, or because the evidence sucks? Oh, I think it's because it sucks. And about determinism, who cares? That's not the subject of my videos on this channel, asshole. Bohemian mechanics or Gerald Hofstad's, whatever, cellular automata are probably far, far superior ideas, whatever that means, because they don't deny facts and experiments. Whatever. I don't determinism can be logically deduced from multiple directions. The physics, it can be proved through physics. It can be proved through the fact that I can show example after example how cause and effect has determined what somebody is or what they're going to say. I can show it on highways, I can show it on airplanes, I can show determinism working everywhere. Things just don't happen for no reason. Just to show how bad you are with philosophy. Well, this isn't a philosophy channel, asshole. When it comes to anything technical, I don't think technical should be described as philosophy, but whatever. Why don't you try to argue that Cantor's proof was wrong? See, so he's just changing the subject again. So now I have to go find out what this stupid Cantor crap is. I don't give a fuck, frankly, because it's probably another inane, preposterous, convoluted pile of mush where I have to take your word for it. I was wrong, and infinite sets are always the same size. Oh, okay. Again, so you just, somebody was talking about another subject. Let me just try to think of what the scenario was. Yeah, this misuse of words. So the stupid cowboy guy, right, on the Amendum channel on philosophy, he made some idiotic argument that, about how if this statement is false, then it's true, and that logically that could be true. And my argument would be, yeah, that's the kind of nonsense you assholes play. Now we could have people go into a courtroom, and we could have them swear on the Bible and say, "I promise to lie when I'm lying." Something impossible, right? So So we could have them do that because that's essentially saying they're always going to be telling the truth because you can't lie when you're lying. Lie about lying, let's say. So it's a technical word game. But we know that the trial works so much better if we just say, I promise to tell the truth. So the fact that you can pervert words and play little silly girly games with them, it's not even girly, it's just sissy, little sissy boy games with them, is nothing, is meaningless. Because we know we can do much better than that. We know we don't waste time with your little sissy games when we're doing something serious, like running a courtroom or something. So when we really want to know the truth, or we really want to analyze something, we don't play your little silly sissy games. Stupid silly sissies. Alright, infinite sets are always of the same size. Well, there's absolutely no, I would argue there's no use for mathematics that has double infinity or triple infinity in it, that it would be applicable to nothing. There's absolutely nothing. There could never possibly be any meaningful difference between infinite and double infinite. It could change nothing. In a Maxwell equation, it will do nothing. Double infinity all you want, it'll do nothing. You can double it forever. In Huygens, it would mean nothing. Double infinity means nothing. It can't be relevant to anything. Only a silly twat would sit there and even consider thinking about it as a mathematical concept, because all it can be is a contrived construct and a perversion of words, just like saying something silly like, I promise to lie when I'm lying. Alright, anyway. How about you argue that the idea of infinity is made up? No, it has uses, as I pointed out, especially like in Maxwell's equations, where you can create an infinite plane and then mathematically demonstrate how you can undo the inverse square law. You already showed, but obviously there's none of these infinite planes. How about you argue the idea of infinity is made up? You already showed how much you know about Huygens' principle, and you've showed what you know, which is nothing, about how it is a construct by Huygens, an effort to explain what hasn't been explained, and it's a preposterous, in my opinion, explanation premised on an impossible physical circumstance. How about you demonstrate your ignorance with infinite set theory? Okay, just show me what this infinite set theory does, and what role it plays in anything like a car running or anything real in the world. Because I'll argue it's all bullshit. It doesn't mean a fucking thing. It can't. It's like playing upside down chess. It's a meaningless contribution. That infinity is made up. Well, again, it's always made up. It doesn't exist in anything really connected. There's no way to measure one. There's no way to interact with an infinity. So what's the point of talking about it? It's irrelevant. It only has meaning as something just to prove you can make a zero in the Maxwell equation. I could reduce the effects of r squared to 0 by using an infinity in Maxwell's equations. I can just imagine you deny